Hello and welcome to another video. This is one of my videos in which I make like 6 videos in a row and give you guys way too much content. This video is going to be books you didn't know you needed in your life and might never have heard of, but I'm going to tell you about 10 of them. Basically, it's books you might not have known existed, and I've got 10 books to talk to you about today. They're all of different genres, there's no particular order, and we're just going to whiz through them. I'm going to tell you about them really quickly in the style I do with my wrap-ups, and if you like them, then you can purchase them. I'm going to try and link them all down below. Some of them are older, so I don't know if they will be as easily accessible, so I will try and find them on a website. If I can't, then I will just put the name of them down below. Coming at you now with my 10 recommendations. The first recommendation is The Book Jumper. This is by Untitled Chapter. I probably butchered that pronunciation, I'm so sorry. This is actually a translated book as well, and this is about a girl who discovers that she can jump from book to book, and she goes on magical adventures in the pages of the books, and she kind of learns how to do it with a couple of people on an island that she is currently staying on. This was really good fun, I really enjoyed it, and it made me order other books by the author when I finished it. Then we have got Empress of All Seasons by Amico. This one you may well have heard of, but I don't think it's very widely talked about, so I wanted to mention it in this video. This is about a girl who has trained to become Empress her whole life, but she's hiding a secret, and the way you become Empress is by going through challenges of 4 different seasons, and they are intense, and this is about her story. Very much enjoyed this one. Also, the cover is absolutely stunning. We love it. So this should definitely be on your wish list if you are into that kind of YA fantasy. Next up is a book I have mentioned quite a lot on my social media channels because when I read it, I adored it, and this is The Unlikely Escape of Awry by H.G. Parry. This is a book, again, about books, but this time the characters can come out of the books, and it's the real characters that we know that are coming out of books. So, for example, Awry is from Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. You've also got characters like Matilda, the White Witch, Dorian Gray, people like that, and this is fantastic. I absolutely loved this book, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who likes books about books. Also, it's set in New Zealand, and I don't think you often read books set in New Zealand, or I personally don't come across many of them living in the UK, so I very much enjoyed the setting of this one too. Now, if you're after something short and easy to read during the summer, there's The Bridges of Madison County. This book is by Robert James Waller. This is a tiny little novel about a National Geographic photographer who goes to take some photos of bridges and ends up falling in love with a woman instead, and probably does take a few photos of bridges as well. I read this very quickly, it made me cry, it's very powerful and beautiful, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who wants a fleeting summer romance type of story to read in the hotter months. Then we have got The God Game by Danny Toby. This is a book that came out at the start of this year, and not many people have been talking about it, so I thought I would add it into this video. This is a sci-fi adventure type of thing, set in a world in which people's lives are being controlled by this God game. I say people, it's a small group of students that have potentially got involved in something a lot bigger than they realised. This is perfect if you like things like Ready Player One, if you're after something that involves some kind of a gamification to it. It's a bit techie, hacker-esque. This is your kind of book. I really enjoyed this. It has got some quite intense themes on it though, so I would have a look at the Goodreads reviews, have a look at the trigger warnings properly before going into it. I don't want to list them off now because I can't remember exactly what they all are, but this definitely isn't one to go into lightly if you are someone that could potentially be quite easily triggered by some of the themes in it, but it is absolutely fantastic and I did really enjoy it, and I think it was my first read of the year, so I was onto a winner. This next book I have spoken about a few times on this channel already, and that is In at the Deep End by Kate Davies. This is a fantastically funny adult contemporary about a woman who discovers she's actually into women, not guys, and she goes on a journey of discovering herself, women, sex with women, and it's just great fun, and it's honestly just hilarious, and I think more people need to read this book. Also, the cover is ridiculously aesthetically pleasing, so it's a win. I know I'm going really fast, but you guys really liked that in my April wrap-up, so I'm just sticking with that theme, because next we have got The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. This cover is beautiful. This is the Canadian book cover. Well, it's the American book cover, I think, but it is from Canada. My mum bought it for me when she went over there last year. This book is about 4 siblings who go to a witch type of woman when they are kids, and they are told the dates they will die. They do not share these dates with each other, and they go about their lives and wait to find out what will happen on those dates. This very much makes you think about your own life, what you do with your life, what you do that causes certain events to happen in your life, and the meaning of family, and it was just really good. Honestly, I would highly recommend this if you're after something a little bit different, little tiny bit magical, but also an adult contemporary. Again, quite strong themes in this one, so do have a look at the Goodreads page for trigger warnings and things for this one as well, although it is not as extreme as The God Game. This next one I actually got served as an ad years ago on Facebook, and I bought it off the back of that, so it did a good job. That is The Secret of Spellshadow Manor by Bella Forrest. Bella Forrest writes quite a few books, and this series is one that I would compare to Harry Potter. So if you are in the mood for a young boy wizard that goes to a wizard school, this is your kind of book. I very much enjoyed this book, and I bought the second one, but I haven't yet read that. But it is literally what I just said. It is a young boy going to wizard school, learning to become a wizard, with a few complications along the way. It's not quite as Harry Potter-y as Harry Potter is, of course, but there's definitely some similarities. So if you're looking for something like that that isn't written by J.K. Rowling, then this could be your answer. These last two are written by the same author, and that is Beauty by Sherry S. Tepper. Beauty is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. This is an incredibly old book, but this is an absolutely fantastic fantasy that crosses into modern day and an older fairy tale style storytelling. It's superb. If you are after a retelling and you are looking for something a bit different that not many people will have read, this could well be the read for you. And lastly, another book by Sherry S. Tepper, The Family Tree. I recommend this book to a lot of people, and barely anyone ever actually reads it. My mum has read it, she bought me my copy. I've read it, and then I think a couple of people might have read a bit of it and not finished it. This is the kind of book where you need to push through the past 250 pages to then keep going with it, because it totally changes the way it's going and it's very different beyond that point. So I would definitely recommend it if you're happy with a slow burner that then goes a lot quicker, / if you're okay to acknowledge that I've told you it's fantastic, therefore you should read it and keep going to find out that it is fantastic. This very simply is a fantasy of sorts. It follows two different plot lines. One of them follows a more of a quest storyline in a fantasy-esque way. The other one follows a woman in our time, this is written in a while ago, so not quite now, but this woman is noticing some very strange things with the environment around her, and she's investigating it. She's trying to understand why that's happening, and it's about those two storylines and how they can come together. I hope I've sold that correctly, because I want more people to read this book. This is probably one of the ones that's going to be slightly harder to find a link to, but I shall give it a go and pop it down below. But yeah, you should definitely check this out because it's really good. Please check it out. So that is all the books that I am recommending to you that you may not have heard of. I hope that that was a quick, succinct way of telling you about these books. Again, if you are interested in any of them, I will pop them down below. If you'd like to follow me to see more of my videos, you can subscribe. You can hit the thumbs up video button thing. I've been talking too much. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. You can comment down below if you've read any of these books as well to make me feel less alone in reading them. I'm sure that some of you might have heard of a few of them. I'm not saying nobody's heard of them, but they're just ones on my shelves that screamed out at me to pop in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I shall speak to you next time. Keep smiling and stay positive.